In the deep void of space, there is nothing protecting you besides the thick walls of your ship and two ancient generators, the Geller Field and the Shields. The ship you're on has been flying around the Milky Way for almost 10,000 years. You are a descendant of the first serfs to have ever served on this ship, hundreds of generations later. Not that this title gains you anything. Your life is one of millions toiling away to keep the ship operational. You don't have a life. You are a tool, a cog in a machine, so much bigger than you couldn't grasp it if you were to witness it firsthand. You are beaten, poorly malnourished, and live a life of constant fear. Any wrong move could wind you up executed or worse, lobotomized and turned into a servo skull or a servitor. Lobotomites turned into computer chips to serve their emperor. But there is a beast that hunts in space, a group of organisms that resemble a swarm, but are much closer to a giant living creature, working together with different tendrils to wrap all of humanity into their gaping maw. These beasts are the Tyranids, a monster so great even the greatest warriors of mankind can only hope to slow its ever-present creep towards Holy Terra. The Tyranids are a bug-like race that goes planet to planet, wiping out all life from existence, down to the molecular level. They leave once lush worlds barren, and will even strip planets of precious metals that it uses in its larger space-based life forms. The Tyranids do not leave survivors. We go now to the crew of an auger station, facing down a Tyranid bio ship, a ship so large it can swallow the auger station whole. An excerpt from Robbie MacNivens' The Last Hunt. The Tyranid bio ship had filled the view screens, even as the stunned crew watched the monstrosity's great hooked chitin beak split apart. The maw yawned wide, impossibly wide, wide enough, Davrik was sure, to swallow one of Darkgan's moons. Its shadow fell across the auger station, blotting out the light of the stars. The structure around them seemed to shudder, as though its terror matched that of its crew. The view screen now showed nothing but static washed darkness. It had swallowed them whole. "Do you hear that?" Serene said. It was the first time she'd spoken since seeing the bioship. They all listened, breath held, straining to hear over the groan of adamantium and Corday's muted sobs. Eventually Davrik caught what Serene had detected, a faint scratching, scrabbling noise, as though someone, or something, was scraping across the hole. It mirrored the scratching tormenting all of them from inside their own skulls. "They're on the hole," Davrik said. Before he could go on, a crash shattered the breathless quiet. The section directly above Krass's chair in the center of the station's cockpit collapsed. With it came a flood of broiling green liquid that struck Krass's just as he looked up. If the old Sensorum master managed to draw breath to scream, the bioacid flooded his mouth, throat, and lungs before he could make a sound. Davrik caught an impression of his death as he was lost entirely in the torrent, flesh sloughing from bones, organics consumed in a heartbeat. The rest of the crew recoiled, but too slowly. Serene, nearest to the center of the cockpit, was struck by the acidic spray. Her hands went up to her exposed face, and her screaming filled the claustrophobic space. Davrik, whose station was furthest from Krass's chair, scrambled back on top of his bench as the flood of acid spread across the decking plates. Serene had collapsed into the rising swill, her body coming apart. Ancum tried to push himself against his voxbangs, but was sick again, and collapsed. The bugs got to him before the acid. There were insects in the hissing, steaming slime. writhing, sightless maggot things with hard black shells. They swarmed from the discolored vomit-like biomatter, the air full of the suration of their passing as they swiftly covered the deck and then the cogitator stations, workbenches, and walls, riding the rising tide of acid. First, hundreds and then thousands of them reached Inkem, swarming over his boots and knees and up his arms where he was crouched against the Vox systems. He tried to scream, but choked on his own bile. His eyes rolled back into their sockets as the alien swarm began eating him alive. Davrik died slowly, on his knees, eaten up inch by the bile and the sightless burrowing things that swam in it. Eventually, the insects flooded his raw throat, choking and suffocating him as they ate out his eyes and bored through his nose and ears and into his brain.